Okay, guys, we'll get going a little bit. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Had some audio problems on the last dev update. It was another great week. Super great progress. We got internal demos of a few things that are important. So we've started, we're a good chunk done with the actual mobile app, the uMoon mobile app integration to the backend services. We've got kind of initial test integrations with the app, with the storage DCS platform, so the decentralized Web3 file storage service. That's looking really good right now. We still have to work on some of the kind of data schema around it, what the mapping is to files that are encoded and encrypted on the storage side to how they're consumed in the mobile app. So this goes under the bucket of the evolving kind of decentralized application architecture that Web3 apps are going to have. Right. So in the traditional world, you may have stored data in an S3 bucket in AWS, or used Azure Blob Storage, or stood up an FTP server or WebDAV server or something like that to store your cloud data. Things that work a little bit differently in Web3, and we're leaning on the decentralized kind of technology platforms. Right. So what it comes down to is we've got it's basically a many-to-many integration. So we've got many decentralized, application users of uMoon, right? There's some kind of central coordination services we have for the uMoon backend, and then we have ancillary services. Storage DCS is one of them. So it's mapping the data schemas back and forth. So when the user's authenticated in the uMoon app, that they can only see their posts, right? Their uploaded data, etc., relative to their account, right? So you'll be able to view a timeline or a news feed, just like a common social media app, because that, the stuff that people publish will be considered public, right? Just like you publish, things to IG stories, etc., and people can see them, right? So it's just kind of cleaning up some of that integration. But things are looking really well there. We got an internal demo of the NFT screens inside the uMoon mobile app, so that's great. They look exactly, for everybody that's seen the figmas, they look exactly like the figmas. So it's just installed on a mobile device. So things are coming together there. We're following the process, UX design first, iterate on it, initial static implementations, iterate on it, and then plug in the dynamic services. This is a common pattern that we've been using. It's common in software development life cycles. It's not waterfall. It's a combination between agile and iterative development that I like to use. So things are going well there. NFT Marketplace is probably 85-90% done right now. I think I said that last time. Got a recent demo of that. The Marketplace team has improved performance off the base Metaplex reference implementation a ton. They're integrating with storage DCS for NFT storage, obviously, because the mobile app is integrating with it as well. By default, Metaplex uses Arweave, right? So we have to rip some stuff out there and create this. There may be projects out there that do this. I have not come across a project yet that takes Solana ecosystem tools and integrates it with storage DCS. So we don't need to be the first. I prefer not to be the first on that front, but we may be. So that's fine. We've got some UX theming to do to the UX for the web app. We've got some Phantom wallet integration testing that we're doing, because we want a browser-based wallet that we do not make. Specifically, Phantom is what we're looking at integrating with. So it's basically pointing Phantom and configuring the service provider backend to be the UNIMOON network instead of Solana's mainnet or testnet. So that's where we're at there. But things are going really well. We're still, we've got a couple of bugs with the integration between the REST APIs for the uMoon backend and the NFT Marketplace, because you got the NFT Marketplace big browser web app, you got the uMoon native mobile app in iOS and Android. The backend actually is one. So we're coming up, again, user experience, figuring out how you transition as a user from the mobile app, right, kind of experience, and providing a seamless experience over to the big browser. So, there's modalities out there that all connects to the world, flash a QR code, do MFA challenge, etc. So, we're exploring some of that. What's the best, easiest experience for a traditional Web2 user? L1 contracts Actually did some client and contract testing last week, which was great. So we're starting to build out that social activity coefficient. The next step over the next 2 weeks is to integrate it with the ML pipeline. But what we're doing right now is we're trying to actually get as much data on chain as we can, right? So Solana natively, I think accounts have a 10 meg limit is what I recall. So obviously we're not putting everything in Solana. The idea is that we have pointers to other things that live off of Solana. One of the biggest things is, why do we want to fork Solana, right? Obviously, we've always said we want to control the infrastructure for our testnet, right? We want to explore kind of different validator modalities later on, as far as how you can get a truly flat network, right? A lot of these L1s we feel have started centralized, and they kind of spread out from there. We wanted to start centralized also and really spread out, but more in a flat nature, right? So whether we put validators in the uMoon app that provide security for the network, we want to explore that probably in Q3 of this year, right? But again, this is stuff that we wanted to control right now. But the other thing why we wanted to fork it is the rent, right? So there's a lot of differences to, people are familiar with EVM-based networks. Data is stored kind of relative to the program there. It's not so. The architecture is different. And there's a lot of benefits to the way Solana does it. But the challenge is if you have persistent data, it's paying rent, right? And who wants to pay some souls or some UNIMOON tokens because they have a buddy list or an account list out there that's part of their account in perpetuity? That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You can get super exotic with DeFi constructs and set up a DAO and a foundation that similar to what Arweave does, right, has perpetual funding essentially to make sure the infrastructure is supported. That's super exotic at the scale we're looking at. And frankly, we didn't want to focus on that for MVP, right? That's kind of neat academic stuff that we'll focus on post MVP at some point. But we're focused on kind of that core functionality right now, right? And so we don't want people paying rent for transactions or storing data. So gas and rent, we wanted to nix, and those are the biggest drivers of being on RL1 right now. Things are going great. I see some kind of UX videos floating around the TG group, which is great. The stuff the community's putting together based on our assets look awesome. The memes are funny. You guys are doing a great job. I'm really pleased with how kind of kind and creative the community is. And we're excited. If you guys have questions, as always, drop them in the TG group and they'll get bubbled up. But yeah, the other thing is too, Dale and I will work probably the next day or two, we'll get stuff on the calendar for the AMAs. Again, we're going to keep up with 2 of them a month. If we do an AMA, it will likely be on Friday, which means no dev updates on Monday for the community project. But things are going great, but we want to get into kind of a strict cadence of 2 a month so people can plan. It'd be easier to attend them. If you guys have any questions, again, TG group. Other than that, happy Monday, and we'll see everybody soon. Thanks.